I have returned. Yes, outside of shorts, I haven't really done a long video, so yeah. Now, a couple days ago, and we're going to get some more information allegedly this week on it, but I thought I'd talk a bit about Marvel Midnight. For those who don't know what Marvel Midnight is Marvel's desperate attempt to combat the Absolute Universe, the thing they inspired with their now defunct Ultimate Universe. And I can guarantee you, much like I said in my short when he was talking about Marvel Midnight, Marvel does this thing where they copy DC's homework, and it's been and yes, DC has copied Marvel's homework too. Let's not split hairs. But lately, it's been more like Marvel has been looking over at DC's homework and copying stuff. Like a good example is like when they did Tales of the Dark Multiverse, and then wouldn't you know it, a year later, Marvel came out with What If Dark. And I could just point to that if for one thing or another. Anyway, but Marvel Midnight is going to be an alternate universe where only the horror characters exist. So, yeah. At first, I thought it was going to be like horror versions of like Spider-Man and X-Men and things like that, but no. This will just be a horror universe that will focus on like Tomb of Dracula, Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, things like that. Now, we do know that there are 3 writers already attached to it. And I'm going to talk about not only some titles, but some other writers I hope to see a part of it. So the 3 writers we know that are definitely a part of it are Ben Percy, Philip Kennedy Johnson, and Jonathan Hickman. Those are our 3 writers right out the gate. Now, as for other writers I'm hoping to see in here, I am hoping to see Delkin Shavely. You would know him best from like his Alien books. He's also done Thundercats. He's also been doing Thundercats. He's also been doing he's done a few other titles that you would know, but that's the one. Thundercats would probably be the best one you would know so far. He also did Terminator from Dynamite. So he's also known for doing horror books, and I really loved his Alien run. I thought it was incredibly solid. It wasn't long, but it was definitely an incredibly solid series. I absolutely loved his Alien, so I would love to see that. There's also a comic out from Image that he wrote called Bog Bodies, which I kind of want to read. I kind of want to read that book. It sounds like a really neat idea. It sounds like a crime noir story, so I'm down for that. Another writer I'm hoping to see part of this is Gail Simone. Gail has been clearly doing a lot of monster stuff in Uncanny X-Men, so I am hoping. So I think she would be really cool here. Following that, I think it would be really cool if we got Dennis Camp here. Dennis Camp is the guy behind, of course, Absolute Martian Manhunter, but has also been behind like Ultimates as well as Ultimate Endgame. Dennis Camp is slowly becoming one of those major writers out there, so I think Camp would be really cool here. Even though they have Camp hasn't really done any like horror centric books, I would love to see Camp's take on a horror book. As for others, I hope we get like some indie writers a part of this, not just we just do in house all the time. I would love to see Karina Becco. Karina Becco, she doesn't really, and the same with Alex DeCampi. They don't do a lot of like major books, but Karina Becco is a solid horror writer. She did Vampirella Aliens. Alex DeCampi also did Vampirella. They're both great female writers, horror writers, and I think they would be really solid here. As for a few others, I think it would be really cool. I mean, Joshua Williamson does a lot. I mean, he's doing Wolfman right now, and he's also basically keeping the Energon universe from being all Robert Kirkman, thank God. And I do not want Robert Kirkman here. I do not want him here. Yeah. But I would say, like, I had another one in mind, but those are some, like, I know Joshua Williamson's doing everything. Iron Man, the Wolfman. He's basically helping Scott Snyder handle things at DC. Yeah. So there are a few things that I would love to see him do. In terms of, like, characters, now, it's safe to say that we already know a few already. Ghost Rider, Dracula, I think they said Morbius as well, and Werewolf by Night. Those are the titles we know so far. So those are probably the starters too for this Marvel Midnight universe. And again, I will probably do a video talking more about Marvel Midnight when it comes out. But yeah, we're just going to do this. So for titles, I think Man-Thing should be one. Absolutely, would love to see Man-Thing. And Steve Orlando would actually be really cool on that. Steve Orlando is very underrated when it comes to horror writing. I know he's known for a lot of he's of course a consistent voice for Wanda in Scarlet Witch. But he's actually been really solid in like horror books for Marvel. So I would say Steve Orlando should be, and he also did a Man-Thing event in the annuals. So I think Steve Orlando should be a part of this and also do Man-Thing. For other characters, if you guys remember, there was a comic called iZombie, which not the Image book, not the Vertigo book, but it was called I think it was just called The Living Zombie. Actually, The Living Zombie was a horror comic where it was about a character, a man resurrected as a zombie, and he just wandered around killing people. So the zombie that's a very like low cut character and one that people don't really remember. So I would really like to see that character come back and they could do something cool with it. Like that's such a niche character. Another would be The Living Mummy. Hey, I would love to see more mummy horror that would actually not feel like an Evil Dead book. Thank you very much. It does make me wonder which book Hickman is writing. Like, for some reason, I just had that thought of what book, because Hickman doesn't do a lot of horror, so I'm curious what book he's going to be a part of. I'm kind of thinking Dracula, because I have a feeling that Ben Percy's going to do Ghost Rider. He did a really solid, low-key Ghost Rider run that was very horror connected. So, and he always does this anti-hero character, so I'm kind of thinking he's going to do a new Ghost Rider run. Philip Kennedy Johnson is another one who's, if you've read his Hulk run, which is phenomenal, then you know for a fact that the dude is really good at horror. So I would probably say, like, I would kind of like to see him do Tomb of Dracula, honestly. For other characters, I would love to see here, like I said, Werewolf by Night, I think has been said, but I think that would be cool. I wonder if they're going to bring Blade into this universe. If we're going to get a Marvel Midnight version of Blade. I'm curious about that. And I'm also wondering if we will get characters. Maybe we could get the Darkhold back. I think I read somewhere that the Darkhold was mentioned, but nothing confirmed. So the Darkhold would be really cool. Maybe the Darkholders. If you guys remember that from the 90s, there was like a group of occult warriors who fought to use the Darkhold for good. They were really cool, but they all got killed off in a Midnight Suns event. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what are some writers and characters you want to see part of Marvel Midnight? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.